switching up, I don't gotta pick a side. If they acting fake with me, then I'm cutting ties. Always kept it real and I know they realize the power from manifesting your destiny. I could never fail cause I'm already rich mentally. Never been in jail but these bars were always meant for me. Trying to be on top of the world and that's my legacy, yeah. I never made excuses, never blame nobody else. They never lent a hand so I did it by myself. Now I control my storyline, I'ma be immortalized. I can't be replaced by nobody on the shelf. A decade in the game and I still been undefeated. And if it's getting close then you know I buzzer beat it. Cause they don't work as hard as me, they don't have consistency. They gon' witness bads making history. One day I'ma have everything I wanted. One day I will not forget where I started. One day I'll be looking back like I made it. One day this could be my last, I can't waste it. One day I will not be thinking about the money. One day I can tell my fam not to worry. One day I'ma get a house with no neighbors. One day this could be my last, I can't waste it. Ayy, living in the moment, I don't be up on the internet. Looking at these other rappers, most of them came and went. People did me dirty, now they wanna try to make amends. I do not forgive and I make sure they don't forget. Killing them with success, know that I've been up next. Taking all my kindness for weakness, no respect. I do not do back and forth, I ain't with the nonsense. When they see me winning, they be upset, yeah. Can't relate to weak minds, they been on a decline. I'ma put myself first, never coming behind anybody else. I had to beat the game with the cards I was dealt. And now I'm at the dealership, giving it a test drive. Gave my mama X3, now she need an X5. Looking at my net worth just to get me inspired. Add a couple more M's and I know that I'll be just fine. One day I'ma have everything I wanted. One day I will not forget where I started. One day I'll be looking back like I made it. One day this could be my last, I can't waste it. One day I will not be thinking about the money. One day I can tell my fam not to worry. One day I'ma get a house with no neighbors. One day this could be my last, I can't waste it.
I've been trying to breathe underwater. I've been trying to hide cause I'm scared. Confusing which is one from the other. Cause it doesn't mean so much in the end. I've been trying to breathe underwater.
I've been trying to breathe,
I've been trying to hide cause I'm scared.
I don't know what to do,
Confusing which is one from the other.
but it doesn't matter.
Cause it doesn't mean so much in the end.
It don't mean nothing. Yeah, I've been dealing with the lies, I've been busy cutting ties from all the other people who not giving me their time. And lately I've been feeling like the only one behind. Cause I'm always giving out, but I'm never getting mine. I always kept it real and had good intentions. But people on the internet faking their friendships, trying to benefit when they see you progressing. They're quick to turn their back when they on to the next one. A sad way to live, I can't ever relate. And nowadays I can't tell the real from the fake. Cause everybody popping and everybody paid till you see that real life and it never looked the same. I show them how I did it, I've been real authentic. I won't ever tell a lie just to boost my image. Cause I'm good where I'm at, I don't need no gimmicks. I just put away the phone, enjoy the life I'm living, yeah.
I've been trying to breathe underwater.
I've been trying to breathe,
I've been trying to hide cause I'm scared.
I don't know what to do,
Confusing which is one from the other.
but it doesn't matter.
Cause it doesn't mean so much in the end.
It don't mean nothing. Yeah. The more that I do, the more that I believe. Everything always goes how it's meant to be. And I don't try to force nothing, I just let it breathe. If it's out of my control, then it's not for me to worry about, I just let it play out. I be living optimistic, I don't ever have doubt that it's all gonna work, but I don't know how. All I do is play my role till the curtain come down. Yeah, I'm lucky that I never had to work 9 to 5, but I put in all that time till my dream came alive. The story never ends if you always gonna try, and I never let nobody ever tell me otherwise. So if you really want it, then you better go and get it. Cause nothing gonna happen if you don't put in the effort. The finish line never in sight when you be waiting. So go enjoy the journey cause there ain't no destination.
I've been trying to breathe underwater.
I've been trying to breathe,
I've been trying to hide cause I'm scared.
I don't know what to do,
Confusing which is one from the other.
but it doesn't matter.
Cause it doesn't mean so much in the end.
Feel like I got the weight of the world on my shoulders. Keep a smile on my face so nobody could notice. Push me to the edge, but I've been getting too close. And God give his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers. I'm alright with it, I'ma fight through it. And they never need to worry if I might do it. I'ma get it done even if I gotta fall. Dust myself off, then I'll always be moving along. Trying to live in the moment, feel like I'm always growing. But lately it's getting hard to get out of bed in the morning. Already got everything that I wanted, and now I'm back to square one. I be wondering what is the problem. Maybe I should put my phone down, think about my own health. I ain't trying to see what they are doing, that ain't no help. When you trying to reach a dream bigger than what they sell. Made it here alone, so I'm keeping to myself. The older that I get, the more that I reflect. Shit I could have done different, shit I can't accept. But I can't change the past, I gotta progress. Now I'm questioning what is the definition of success. Is it about the money, is it about the fame now? Is it about the woman, is it about the chains now? Or is it living with the peace of mind? Maybe one day I'll know the truth, but for now I'm back to the grind. All the memories faded in my mind now. Slowly losing myself, but I don't know how. I know there's a way that I can climb out. I've been getting tired of waiting, I need it right now. All the things that I've done in my life now. When I think about it, I don't ever feel proud. I know there's a way that I can climb out. I've been getting tired of waiting, I need it right now. You've been acting like a stranger. Said you see me later, but you never call back. I've been getting faded, running out of patience, but I know it's alright. I'll just keep on waiting till you come ride with me. Ride with me, girl. You can vibe with me. Vibe with me, girl. Touch the sky with me. Fly with me, girl. You too pretty for these other guys. We gon' have some fun tonight. You can just call me up, tell me when you're ready and I'm pulling up. Waiting outside in a blacked out Benz. Busy for the night, just tell your friends. Anything you want and you know I got it. Everything on me, don't reach for your pocket. I know you a good girl, never do you wrong. Living in my own world, busy making songs. Thinking about you every day, wishing that everything would go my way. But I've been searching and searching again. I'm looking for love, I'm not looking for friends. Wondering if you really might be the one. You know that you perfect, you shine like the sun. You making me chase it, you know that I run. I'm never gonna stop till I stop having fun. Ayy. You've been acting like a stranger. Said you see me later, but you never call back. I've been getting faded, running out of patience, but I know it's alright. I'll just keep on waiting till you come ride with me. Ride with me, girl. You can vibe with me. Vibe with me, girl. Touch the sky with me. Fly with me, girl. You too pretty for these other guys. We gon' have some fun tonight.
Pretty young thing, that's my PYT. You should go and do your thing, just don't forget about me. Cause baby, I can't stop you. Both probably out here wildin'. Long as you know I got you, and you the one I ride with. I'm tryna put in work, put the gas to the flow like skirt. Pull through, I might swerve, I know your worth. Splash is a gift and a curse, let me hit it all night like dirt. Just hit my line, baby. Come catch a vibe, maybe. I've been waiting on you way too long.
You've been acting like a stranger. Said you see me later, but you never call back. I've been getting faded, running out of patience, but I know it's alright. I'll just keep on waiting till you come ride with me. Ride with me, girl. You can vibe with me. Vibe with me, girl. Touch the sky with me. Fly with me, girl. You too pretty for these other guys. We gon' have some fun tonight.
Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, maybe? Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to, what is this? A Wednesday night stream on Wednesday? that can only mean one thing. He's still not back in the green room. I don't see him over there yet. We'll give him a second here. Uh-oh. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay. Okay, he's over there. I had to go and check on him. You know what time it is. Everybody's been we've been promoting this one for a while. It's been a long time coming. I'm not even going to do too much of my normal intro just yet because I want to get him in front of y'all because it's been so long. But, you know, we got to do rules and things like that. So, abbreviated rules, mods in chat, don't screw it up. No racist, sexist, misogynistic, elitist, toxic, zero toxicity, none of that stuff. We do have mods in chat who will quickly ban you. Quick opportunity. Make sure you hit that. Oh, shoot. You know what I forgot to do? Shit, guys. You can tell I'm off my track. You can tell I'm completely off my track because I absolutely forgot. Absolutely forgot to go live on TikTok. Whoopsie. see, we've all been we've been having a run at it. We forgot all about the Wednesday stuff. So anyway, rules and mods and stuff like that. So you can tell I'm super excited. So I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna bring him in. Welcome everybody. Throw the hands together. Lots of cheers. Welcome back for the first time in what, like a year?
It's months. I think we did it at the end of last year or at the beginning of this year, but
there's no way. There's no way. It's been a minute. Welcome back. For those, if this is your first time seeing the one, the only Mr. Jeff Goals.
Mr. Secondary Old Guy Wednesday Bald Guy.
Well, so he was the guy who helped us coin the Old Guy Wednesday, and then we've just kind of had to substitute him out for other old guys as we've kind of like as he's ditched us. Apparently, life in sales is really, really good, so he had to go ditch us and go actually have like a real job where he goes out to clients and stuff like that and doesn't come hang out with us.
I would have rather hung out with you.
Aw. If you're new, if you've never met Jeff before, I'll give Jeff a little bit of an intro. You can always hit that exclamation point guest in chat. Look at that. I even made you a banner, Jeff. Just in case people forgot who you were.
Neal friggin' Bridges, you are the best.
You can hit that exclamation point guest in chat like Panzer just did. You can get access to Jeff's LinkedIn page. Go follow this man. He is awesome. As a matter of fact, Carmen said she needs to talk to you because she needs help developing a go-to-market strategy for taking an enterprise software product to market. So she's probably gonna reach out to you. And she did say that she misses you and your wife, of course, obviously. So she misses you dearly.
Well, my dad just moved down near you. So,
yes.
Like, there's multiple reasons for us to hang out.
You've said that, but every single time you've been down here, you have yet to call me to hang out. So I'm just saying, like, I'm here, you're there. What's going on?
Do you have a Fogo down there? That's what I know how to do.
Do I have a Fogo? We do not have a Fogo. And, you know, it's been really, really hard to find a good Brazilian steakhouse in the greater Raleigh area. They did just open one, and it's okay. It's nowhere near. But I'll tell you what, like, and Karma would be so mad at me for bringing this up. But I miss those bottles of J. Lore that we used to close down the restaurant with. Like a nice, good cab. Like, I miss that.
For those that don't know, Fogo is what we revere as Fogo de Chao Brazilian steakhouse, and it's unlimited beef. And Neal,
unlimited beef.
Well, honestly, that's all we got, and we would walk out with just a food coma, feeling ill.
When we say we would walk out, so listen, like this was
walk might be an overstatement. You're right.
Yeah, walk might be an overstatement, and there were more than one occasion where we were the last ones to leave the restaurant.
Yes. Anytime the manager is like literally,
yeah, it was pretty bad. So Jeff's been a good friend of mine. He's been a good friend for a number. Jeff's like 50%. I turned him up. Jeez, really? Man.
You turned me down before.
Did
That's
I turn
why.
you down? I thought I turned you up. There, I turned Jeff up. See if that works. I turned
Whoa,
Jeff
hello.
up. Whoa. He can't. He don't let him fool you. He can be soft spoken a little bit there. Jeff and I met years ago. It's been a minute now since you and I have known each other. Jeff was the first sales guy. Like I feel like I'm talking like to talking about my wife. Jeff was the first sales guy I gave a chance to. And we've been married ever since. I mean, friends ever since.
We don't need to go take this any further, do we? We're just gonna let that storyline end right there.
Just let that one lie right there. But no, I mean we've done a lot together. We've he was big dog over at Carbon Black before Carbon Black got bought by VMware. There was a big dog over at VMware before he got bought by Broadcom, and then he tried to run and hide at Broadcom and pretend like he didn't exist for what 6, 9, almost 12 months over there.
It was probably over. It was an odd job.
It was an odd job. What's it?
This is officially a Joel Fulton special. Right?
Oh, is this what this is?
That's what that was.
Garbage job.
Yep.
So let's ask this one. What's it like? Because you've been at Carbon Black for a minute. I wouldn't say that you've been there since day one, but it was considerably smaller, like a few thousand, people when you joined. A few hundred.
When I started, it was like 420,
400
people.
And so then you got bought by VMware, and I remember some of the conversations you had when you got bought by VMware and then you got bought by Broadcom. As you look back on your time at Carbon Black as a whole, through 3 big-ass acquisitions of big-ass organizations, what's your takeaway?
I've got a couple.
Well, don't hold back.
I'm not gonna like diss anyone. Like the reality is, it was all a financial thing, and all those acquisitions. There were reasons for it, and the bottom line is I went to Carbon Black because it was a great environment. I mean, the culture there was let's all dive in together. Let's just help, and it didn't really matter what your job title was. If you needed to get something done, people would come out of the woodwork to help. And it was that kind of, and I think that's what you felt with Carbon Black. There was just a lot of people that, bled cybersecurity. It was at the heart of what they loved. And that's the reason I went there. And over time, you would find facets of it here and there. Every time you had an acquisition, you had to go looking for those facets again. But that's now ended. I have moved on from that, or they moved us all on, I guess is the better way to put it.
I think one of the things that I've always heard you say, right, and I've heard Patrick say this too, Patrick Morley, former CEO of Carbon Black, was, he always wanted to have that no bullshit filter, keep things very real, wanted to have like a very close-knit relationship as a small team, kind of keeping that small team. And I can only imagine that that's probably the first thing to go as you get acquired by some of these bigger organizations.
Yeah, there was a lot more politicking. As soon as you've got a large organization and you're trying to justify your org in the midst of a very vast organization, you were looking at, okay, these are all the reasons we should be here. These are all the reasons you should consider us relevant. And we lost a lot of control. And so that's where a lot of the culture got eaten away. And people were just justifying their jobs as opposed to diving in to things that weren't necessarily theirs. So that piece was really hard to continue with.
And I imagine that takes a toll on your mental health as you're like fighting Hunger Games style for your job day in and day out.
Yeah, I didn't really struggle with that much. And the only reason was that kind of joined up with sometimes I was doing really, really well at my job. Right. And, I have worked at some jobs extraordinarily hard. If you look at the effort meter, it was off the charts. Right. And I had no success. And then other times, same job, same company, Carbon Black, the first couple of years, it was super tough. And then after a couple of years, it started getting a lot better. By the end, when all these acquisitions were happening, I had good relationships, and those relationships trusted me. They knew that I was not in this for a short-term gain. I was in this for the long haul. And they knew when I said, okay, we weren't ready to do this before, we're ready to do this now. They trusted it. And that was some of the reason that it was going well for me. So I didn't really struggle with, I need to justify why I'm here. And I see what you're saying. And I saw that a lot with a lot of my peers.
Now I'm gonna pick on you a little bit just because it's been a minute and that's what we do here. But I'll get to that.
I'm actually surprised. It's like 20 minutes in.
It is like I'm trying to ease you back into it, right? It's been a minute, so I want to ease you back into it a little bit. But we are gonna have Rick on tomorrow too, and so I'm gonna preload a lot of the conversations with you because we're gonna have Rick on tomorrow. We're gonna see what Rick's take is on some of this too. But you then left, or you got forced out, right? Rift laid off as part of that. You went somewhere else, and then you left there and went somewhere else on top of that. And so now the place that you're at now is another endpoint company. So you went from endpoint-ish inside of Broadcom to an email company to another endpoint company. Can you talk through what it was like to get Rift and some of the strategies that you had in terms of like looking for a job and then obviously keeping your head above water during that entire process?
Yeah, for sure. I would say the hardest part about the Rift was the waiting.
So you knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming a year and a half ago. And what was interesting is the leader that I followed to the company I'm at now, he has a mantra of, I am never going to BS you. I will tell you the truth, exactly what's going on. And it's one of the reasons I'm here with him now. It's a company called Cybereason, and another endpoint company. And there's a lot of handpicked carbon black people that went over to Cybereason. And they went over there because they wanted to rebuild the culture that we had before. And what's super cool is it's a small team, and we're all diving in to do about 17 different jobs, right? And so I loved that.
Yeah,
that's the reason I'm here. So I'm kind of working backwards to answer your question.
Yeah.
The middle job, it was a good job. I would have been happy there. And I got in 3 weeks later. The guy that hired me, and that I committed to him and he committed to me, he decided to leave. And so there was no level commitment at that point. And it was, I can either start with a bunch of people I already know and care about deeply, or I can learn the ropes with someone who's going to be a new manager who doesn't know me. And I'm the newbie that doesn't know anything, and they don't know anything. And that to me was just a tough pill to swallow. So that brings me back to your first part of your question of getting Rift. How did that feel? The guy that I'm working for now was part of Broadcom back at Semantic days. So he knew the playbook, knew exactly what was going to happen. And it was almost like deja vu all over again, because you would say something that was about to happen, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that was right. That was right on track." And then they would say the next thing,
almost as if they had a playbook for it.
Almost like they had a playbook for it. And what was de-stressing about that is, okay, I know that he said everyone's going to get let go. Yeah. But he also said there's going to be some severance. There's going to be some things you got to do. And so literally the last year was closing out my book of business, everything I could possibly close out because I'm in sales. But it was a lot of enablement stuff too. I was trying to get super smart on a lot of other things. Email happened to be one of them, which is why I ended up going to Proofpoint right away. They were on my short list. So, it wasn't necessarily super hard because I felt like I'd been planning for it a full year. And then it was just a matter of the research that I had done and the preparation that I had put into place just was like, okay, this is the next step. This makes sense.
When you said it was on your short list, so you knew it was coming, you did a ton of planning, I imagine you researched people at different organizations, you looked for job openings, you reestablished some connections with some people that you knew at Proofpoint, and you made sure that you had all the things in place that you needed to, so that when that rift happened, you were ready to pick up pretty quickly from the riff.
Yeah, I had an interview within 2 days.
Yeah.
With Proofpoint.
So we've been asked this before on stream, and at the time you'd been with Carbon Black for a while, and I'd been with a couple of organizations for a while too. But you were literally with Proofpoint for what, 3 months? I think something like that.
Not even.
Not
No,
even
it was
3
2
months.
months.
2 months. Do you feel that a hop like that between Broadcom to Proofpoint to Cybereason, if you were to think about the job after Cybereason, do you think that short stint is going to hurt you on your resume?
I don't. I actually don't even have it on my LinkedIn because from my perspective, I didn't even do the job, right? Like my job is to sell and to go out and educate people on what we do, right? And understand their business, understand their workflows, what are the challenges that they face, and I marry up the things that we do well with the things that they need. And it's that level of communication that is what a salesperson's job is. So if you look at my 2 months, I was still like in training. In fact, with them, they like to have you go through a lot of the online stuff and get your feet a little bit wet, and then dive into the full training class. So my training class was literally the week after my last day. So, like from that perspective, I didn't feel like I had done the job. So it was. I can talk to it, but the reality is, Cybereason was just like a glove. It was an easy thing to fit right back into. I knew the product from a competitive perspective. I know the competitive landscape. I know the value prop that I'd been selling for the last 8 years at Carbon Black and what we were missing. I knew a little bit about where the industry was heading already. Email was interesting, but a totally different lane, right? And so I just switched back to the lane I have been comfortable in.
So speaking of switching back to the lane you were comfortable in, you mentioned that you're in sales, you've got a lot of contacts, your goal is to build relationships and find solutions for folks, and see if your solution matches up with their problem, right? You just got done selling Carbon Black to every Jim, Joe, Bob, and Billy in your territory for the last, God, you've been at Carbon Black for a hot minute.
Yeah. Over 8 years.
Yeah, over 8 years.
Kind of a unicorn in our space too. I mean, there's not a lot of people that stay at the same thing for that long.
Yeah, absolutely. But now you've got to go to those people and convince them that Cybereason is what they should switch away from Carbon Black to, or potentially switch off of CrowdStrike to, or potentially switch from MDE to. And I guess my point is like, didn't you, I know you said it was like a glove, but didn't you risk analyze whether that was the right market decision for the industry? How are you going to be successful there convincing somebody to go to Cybereason if you just convince them to go to Carbon Black?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't necessarily look at my role as manipulating / convincing. I look at my role as understanding and filling gaps. That's really what I think I do really well. Do I think we've got a fantastic product? Yeah. And there are things that we don't do that Carbon Black used to. Yeah. Application control is a perfect example, right?
Yep.
I love that product. It was you
and I have talked so much about good strategies for that product.
Right. And they didn't do any of it. So, all of our fantastic pontificating about what it could be
yes
didn't go anywhere.
Yes.
So
frustrating.
In fact, I think they finally got rid of the Bit 9 logo in the console like 2 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
But like you look at that and say, okay, that's got a really specific use case and some benefit statements that I can totally get behind,
Mhm.
right? Every company has some of that. If I would have gone to CrowdStrike or SentinelOne or Microsoft or whatever, it would have been okay. What do we do that's very different and better? Great. That's what I'm going to go look to see where there are needs. And yeah, there's some spaces that you're just like it could be solved by any of these companies, right? Like you look at EDR. EDR is not that vastly different. You and I have talked about this.
Yeah,
EDR is
absolutely.
not that vastly different. Whether you've got SentinelOne,
That's
CrowdStrike,
right.
Microsoft, Palo Alto,
That's right.
Cisco, Carbon Black, whatever. The reality, though, is does it fit the organization that you're selling to? And that just is all I got to understand what the nuances of that organization are. How do they use EDR? What does it integrate with? In the ecosystem, are you looking at it as trying to stay ahead of things, or are you looking at it from a GRC perspective? And if you understand how stuff is being used in an organization and what they need from it, that's where you can start identifying where we fit at Cybereason versus where Carbon Black fit, for instance.
So we're really talking about understanding the business and making sure that you're achieving the business objectives with the solutions that you're putting in place, if I'm hearing you right.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
God, I've missed these conversations with you.
Do you agree with that?
I don't know.
Like, because you're on the receiving end of that.
I am on the
right?
receiving end. And you remember our good friends that were at McAfee and SecureWorks, who went to a named EDR, and their first call to me was to convince me to move off of Carbon Black and to them because they were clearly better for no apparent reason. And that was the first call that they made to me, was purely to convince me that their product was superior and that I should switch off. And so, I'm very cynical. Like, this hits very close to home for me because I think that is the problem with sales and marketing in cyber. And Matt, our CEO, just got back from Black Hat last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and he echoed a lot of that. It's like marketing has just gotten out of hand in cyber, and sales has just gotten out of hand in cyber. And everybody thinks that their product is the best. Everybody thinks that you should use their product until they go to another competing company, and then they think that product is the best and you should use that product. And so I think it creates a very disjointed and distrustful relationship with practitioners out there on the ground.
Yeah, I can see where you could go to that perspective. I think being an old guy, I get to look back on life and say, okay, what were the things that I did well? What were the things that I did poorly? And the times I did poorly, it was more focused on my success and what I'm doing. The times I did well and enjoyed my life and my job and getting up in the morning were the ones that I focused on other people's issues and how I could help. And so, like, I still talk to Tom. Like, I have no reason to talk to him.
Yeah.
Business wise, I like him.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And, we help each other out, think through things. And there's no reason that I should stop that. Right.
Mhm.
And there's no business reason for it per se. There might be somewhere down the line. And he says, oh, I got this problem. It's like, well, this over here would solve that. And honestly, if I'm a good salesperson, it might be my product and it might not be my product, and that shouldn't matter.
Right.
Right.
Right. Well, I think that's what
that's hard to tell a shareholder, though.
Yeah, it is hard to tell a shareholder, but that's what I liked about consulting, was because you got to at least stay a little bit in that middle road and say, listen, I can't recommend a product, but you need to follow this strategy, or you need to do this type of thing. I think that's where it gets super difficult is, whenever somebody in this industry comes to you with like, hey, you should use X product, you can't help but wonder what's their vested interest in that product.
True. It's at the end of the day, I will say it is who are the people standing behind that product,
Yes.
and are they willing to dive in when it's hard,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. And I think that right there, like, I can't stress that enough. Like, you and I have been on incident calls when I was at a company before where it was like shit was hitting the fan, and I was like, Jeff, I need the team at Carbon Black to help me with this. And you guys had folks there, lickety split, to kind of come and help out, and it was really nice.
Yeah, well, like honestly, that is what gets us up in the morning.
Yeah.
That was especially at that time, we cared. Like
Yeah.
our mantra was "World safe from cyber attacks."
Yeah.
It wasn't "We're going to save you from cyber attacks," right? And I think it's a nuanced difference, but I think that's super important. It's like you look at the slogans of these companies and like breaches stop here, or
we
whatever.
stop. No, it's we stop breaches, because
We stop breaches. We are your savior, right?
yes.
And the last time I was on, we were talking about the frustration that and depression that a lot of security analysts feel of these tools. All these technologies come out. You've got now AI and ML, and what's next, right? And at that time, it was XDR that was the new magical thing
Yes.
that was going to solve everything. And hindsight being 2020, I will be the first to break it to you. XDR didn't solve the world's problems. There are still cyber.
Imagine that. All the fun we made of XDR here on Cyber Insecurity, and it still hasn't manifested itself into something awesome.
So, but at the end of the day, the products are needed, but they have to fit into a stop. Stop.
Okay.
Let me finish my statement before you yell at me, please.
Okay.
Mr. Neal's soapbox.
Okay. I'll put it back down.
The products are needed behind the workflow to simplify the process for the people who are trying to do the work.
Products.
But they are a tool to help the people be more efficient and effective.
Products are not needed.
What's needed?
It is.
Okay, you're going to say that. That's
yes,
fine.
I am. You know exactly what I'm going to say.
I'm going to just say, the world without any tools and any products, how do you defend?
Right. That's the point. It's a people, process, and technology.
Right. Well,
right.
You said technology is not needed.
I said products aren't needed. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Tomato. Products, right. Technology, whatever.
Right. What you don't need is, you don't need everybody with different color crayons trying to say that their color is the best one to solve the solution, therefore you should buy their color of crayon. Like, that is creation of the problem that we have inside. Do
you think that's what I was saying?
I do think that. I don't think that's what you were saying. I think that's what I'm totally
how you read it, no matter who's saying it.
That's how salespeople view it. That's how marketing people view it. That's exactly
that's how you view salespeople and marketing people.
That is also a true statement. That is also a true statement.
I've missed you, man.
I know, me too. I know, me too. By
the way, for those that are trying to picture what restaurants were like, yes, Neal and I were the loudest people in the restaurant.
Yes, absolutely. And he was telling me to shut up at the table then too.
I haven't even said that yet here. Yet.
AI. You did say AI.
What do you want?
Oh God, how? I don't even know where to go with AI with you.
No. Where we go with AI is Homer Simpson's comment about beer, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's the cause of and the solution to all of life's problems. I think that's kind of where XDR or AI is.
Where AI is. Do you remember? You're probably one of the few that remembers this, right? We're talking like RSA 2019, maybe RSA 2020, when AI was all over every banner at RSA.
Mm-hmm.
AI everywhere, AI XDR, AI SIM, AI detections, like I applauded Carbon Black because you guys did not jump into immediately like that AI bandwagon as well as everybody else did, because everybody else was all over that AI bandwagon. I think Sentinel-1 was like one of the first DDRs to be all over that AI bandwagon in 2019, 2020. And I just have to ask, I want to get those marketing people back on stream and be like, so how painful was it for you to have to redo all your marketing from 2019 to today, knowing that you completely screwed it up in 2019 when AI really didn't even exist?
Yeah. No, the new and improved AI.
I meant the new and improved. We had AI then, but we got the new AI now.
AI 2.0.
That's right. That's right. Oh God.
Yeah.
How have you struggled with your cynicism around AI as a seller? Oh, the rare Jeff sigh.
No. So it's good. Like it's a multifaceted problem, and it's a multifaceted answer. Like it's not a simple, but yes, no kind of thing. Because AI is actually super cool. It's great if you can use it to simplify your operations. The problem is that I think LLMs. It's only as good as the language, right? What you put in, that's what you're going to get out. And so I think there's LLM manipulation that can happen on the front end that makes it way less valuable and trustworthy. So it's not an easy answer. My cynicism was pretty early on about it because I'm like, it's not going to be the saving grace, because any progress that's made with AI, attackers will use to make it even more harder, right? Like if you got a ever increasing difficulty to detect and see what's going on because they're better at it, everything's just kind of rising, right? Yeah. I will say this: if attackers would just please go back to 2012 and your sophistication, of 2012, and let the tools of today solve all those things, that would be great, right?
It'd be perfect. It'd be awesome.
We're finally ahead of the game, but we're not there.
We're not there.
Okay, turn it back on you.
Okay.
Do you see any benefits of AI?
I do. I've moved off my cynical post. And we've been on this stream, but I don't know if you realize
you didn't see that surprise face I gave.
I did not see that surprise face.
You just like glossed right over that.
Yes. 2 years ago, I was incredibly cynical on AI as a whole.
Everything.
Oh. Well, yeah, everything. Yeah. I do see benefits.
I have since decided not to be as cynical only on AI. Everything else is still cynical.
That may or may not be true. We may find some places. Callie's bringing up golf already. Golfing
had to go there.
Like, I don't know if it's made me more pragmatic or less pragmatic. I don't know. We'll see. I do have a fundamental belief that AI and LLMs used for summarization of large and difficult to search through data sets is a value add. I think that AI and LLMs used to create work efficiencies in tactical and operational tasks are an important part of the evolution of AI. I think those two things, and I can give examples in both of those areas if you want to dive into both those examples, but I do think those two areas are where cybersecurity is currently going to benefit the most from this current hype cycle of AI.
Oh yeah, you look at post-incident reporting, right?
Yeah.
Hey AI, write my report for me.
I look at it more like, I think it's more like, if I think about the data thing, like imagine you're a SOC analyst or a threat hunter and you're looking at data in a SIM, whatever the SIM is, right? And you search for something and you get 20,000 records back, right? Whether it's an incident or you're investigating an incident or you're doing a threat hunt, that's 20,000 records of information that you've got to look for, right? Now, conventional wisdom would say, oh, well, just be a Python nerd and write a shit ton of Python to pare all that stuff down to look for the needle inside the stack of the needles. And sure, like there's a lot of people that love to do that. And I don't think I'm trying to take away from that value of doing that. But I do think that there is exponential value if you had an LLM that could parse those 20,000 rows and you could ask it a cybersecurity specific question and it could give you the output of processing 20,000 rows faster than you could ever write a script or SPL
100%.
or KQL or anything like that to look for your answer.
If you trust those 20,000 lines.
Absolutely. But you have that same problem. You have that same problem now. Like trust isn't different between AI and now. Like I think that that's a red herring, right? If I'm looking at 20,000 lines as a SOC analyst, I have to depend on my skills as a Python programmer. I have to depend on my analytics on looking for IOCs. I have to depend on my ability to do the functions and the searching correctly inside of Splunk or Elastic or Sentinel or whatever the case is. I have to trust me that I'm not going to screw it up and I'm still going to find the needle in the stack of needles. I would argue that AI's probability for success is higher because those things aren't in play.
Right. And it's only malicious if someone inserts a malicious line in that, right?
Which is no different than if somebody got access to your log server and started to purge your logs or put malicious data inside your log server. All these things don't change fundamental cybersecurity basics.
It would have made me a way better Fortran programmer. Honestly, we go back to my Fortran class. Okay, compile error. Dang it. And it wouldn't tell you what line was the problem. AI, please solve my stupidity.
Yes,
please.
Yes. and so like I think that there are scenarios like that. Yeah. I think those scenarios could be massively valuable for cybersecurity. They could actually change the tides on cyber attacks if implemented correctly. I do firmly believe that.
Okay, what are the tenets of a correct implementation then? What do you look at if you were advising a company saying, okay, we're going to implement it that way, but what are the tenets that you stand on to make sure that it is done correctly?
And I will preface this to say that I'm not an expert in this by any stretch of the imagination. I think that it is still so new that anybody claiming to be an expert is a buffoon and completely off their rockers, right? But I do think you hit the nail on the head, right? I think sanitizing input, sanitizing output. I think it's just like any other input-output system, right? Garbage in, garbage out. And so you've got to make sure that you've got good stuff going into the model. I think that, like, I'm not a fan of security teams using ChatGPT or Gemini or any of the off-the-shelf language models. I do think that there's some inherent risk there with that. I'm a huge fan of, and there's tons of projects out there and tons of very easy projects. I think this is a case where I'm an advocate of build it yourself type of thing, where you can control the input, you can control the output. I think that, having those abilities to, check the questions coming in and then checking the questions coming out to see if the question that came out would be the logical answer for the type of question that came inside. And then having a list of questions like, hey, don't let people ask these types of questions. Don't let people, do these types of things with the data once they get in there. I think that is what I would refer to as cybersecurity 101 for LLMs, is that you treat it like an input-output system. And so you put something on the front of it to sanitize the input coming out, and you put something on the back end of it to sanitize the output coming out. I think that is probably the best starting place that anybody could have for having a good security best practice around LLMs.
Okay, so what's a good sample size for validation?
Oh, shit, I have no fucking clue. No idea. I have no idea. Like, that's a mathematics problem that somebody else could deal with.
Oh, so now we're just in math. Okay.
Yeah, this is your area, Jeff. You're the physics dude, man. You're the physics dude. You tell me. I have no idea what the statistical analysis needs to be for that shit to be successful.
I'm just curious if you needed to validate, there's like 1 out of 100 good.
I think that that's a value that's going to change over time, right? I think Callie says it good in chat, right? AI is a tool. It's still up to the operator to harness it. And I think in the early days of us using it, there's going to be a lot of guess and test. There's going to be a lot of what's right and what's wrong. I think that I say this very frequently, and I do mean this, right? Not every security team is built the same. Not every incident response team is built the same. Not every threat hunting team is built the same. Not even pen testing team is built the same. There are differing levels of maturity in cybersecurity organizations. And so I think that you have to be really, really careful when you say things like, well, what is acceptable risk for the errors in your model? Because a level 1 maturity team that has 10,000 alerts that some LLM can help them solve 25% of correctly is still 25% more efficient than they are today versus somebody who's like a level 5 maturity.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of inefficiency in that math, though. That's not 25% because they still have to validate that it's actually truly 25%. So, right.
Yeah, but I mean, you get the gist that I'm going in. There's probably some margin for error that depending on your maturity level, you're still getting the benefit out of it versus not having it in the first place.
That's fair. So if AI is going to be helpful, right, and you get to wave your magic wand for the tools out there, right? What do you tell product development at a manufacturer to make sure that they do to make it valuable and doesn't piss you off because the marketing took over? Is that a fair question?
It is a fair question. I think that I laugh because I've got Mike Bousquet, our product guy, in my ear whenever you say like whenever you ask me to speak to the product guys, and he makes a very good point when he talks about product decisions, and it really should be that you're solving a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you're in the AI space, if you were CrowdStrike or Cybereason or something like that, right? I think if you're looking at a product and your definition of adding AI to your product is a little chat box down in the corner where you get to ask free-form questions and it gets to tell you like, you know, hey, here's this random...
Powered by AI. Sorry, couldn't resist.
Yeah. Like I think if that's your definition of putting AI into your product, like I think that's a bad product design, right? I think if you're building a product that is supposed to be solving user problems and solving problems for your customers, the AI should help accelerate that process of solving problems.
All right, so I'll summarize because that's what I like to do with your statement. You can have the same outcome, but you're only happy with a tools manufacturer that starts with the customer problem and builds AI to specifically solve that problem in a way that is best suited for AI to solve as opposed to any other avenue.
I think I would say it differently.
Hold on.
Okay.
Conversely, if you go at it saying, oh, we're supposed to make sure we can say powered by AI. So where can we put it in our product that we can, have it say powered by AI, but we don't really have to spend much time or energy doing it?
Yeah. And I think I would narrow that even more down to say AI is a feature. AI is not a product.
Yeah.
Right.
I can live with that.
Yeah. I think.
Do you think that other salespeople, you talk to way more salespeople than I do.
Unfortunately.
I know. Do you think they get it?
I think it depends. Right? I think that there's like B-Seg is the first one to chime in on that one.
By the way, I knew I was going to get a lot of chat fodder from that question.
I'm starting to classify salespeople into two buckets, maybe three if I'm lucky, but definitely two buckets. There's definitely a group of salespeople that I talk to, ironically, maybe not ironically, maybe it's not as ironic as you think it is. They're the few salespeople that I actually keep in a close circle to me, because of the way that they think, like yourself included, which is that the way that sales has been working in the past is not the way that it's going to work in the future, and that something has to change. Either your sales approach, either how you interact with your friends, colleagues, prospects, people you meet, whatever you want to call them, right? Your need as a salesperson to understand truly the product or the problem or the solution, and then how to emotionally and psychologically connect with folks. I think there is a bucket of people who are realizing that that has to be a natural evolution of the sales cycle. And then I still think that there's way too large of the other cohort out there, which is just like, cool, how many deals do I got to put in pipeline for me to meet my quota? How many do I have to close this quarter? I don't care if I got to sell my Bob's uncle's kidneys to the third drug dealer in the furthest corner of the Andes. I don't care. I'm going to get it done, right? Type of thing. And I just, like those salespeople, like, I think that they scream through, at least in my DMs, and it's just blatantly obvious with these like canned messages of like, hey, Neal, I see we're in the same space. I'd love to add you to my network. Oh, yeah, let's click accept. Hi, Neal. Good job working at Query. Have you seen my brand new IoT product that I've got to sell? And I'm just like, what gave you the indicator that I'm in the IoT security space that you'd want to sell to me? Clearly, you're just fucking splashing shit all across the internet and hoping that somebody will pick it up and give you a sell. And I hate that shit.
I really, really want to send you multiple LinkedIn messages with that. Hi, Neal.
But that's how it happens, right? It's like, and there's a video on YouTube, or not on YouTube. I think it's still on Twitch. I think it's a highlighted video on Twitch where Jeff and I talk about this problem of like, hey, if you show up in my DMs, right? Like if you show up in my DMs, I know it's because you want to try to sell me something. The last thing I want you to do is to try to sell me something. Please, for the love of all that is holy, just be my friend, and maybe you'll get further than if you come out the gate with whatever your canned BDR and SDR messages.
Okay, so you're a CISO,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What kind of introduction is appropriate? Sure. I know you got a lot of tech people on this stream. I don't know how many salespeople you have on this stream.
With the way that I talk about them, who knows?
By the way, if they're on the stream, I apologize for all of the things that Neal has ever said to you. I am uniquely qualified to deeply understand and apologize.
My sales guy Dave may or may not be listening on on LinkedIn. I have no idea if he's even paying attention tonight or not. But Dave, I do still love you no matter how much shit I give you.
All right. So what is the opening 2 sentences of an introduction email that you'll actually open?
I mean,
just you, man. Everyone on this channel hates salespeople. I'm actually a little honored and / surprised that I get any positive reception on this.
Oh, that's a good one, Matt. Oh God.
It's not just Mass. It is all the people on your channel who are putting that on your stream now.
Are you reading chat?
It's a conspiracy.
Oh God. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, and this is why we need Jeff back on permanently. Oh. I have a lot of cynical answers to your question, and I'm trying to, like, my brain is like going through the file index, like, what answer can we give that's not cynical?
You don't own one. That is not in your file cabinet.
Um, listen, I don't want to get on a call with you. I don't want to go to some Zoom party. I don't want you to send me some $50 Amazon gift card to take a call. Like, I don't know what it is that I can tell you that'd be like, I'd really like to talk to Jeff. Because I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you unless
I will really try not to be offended by that.
just keeping it real, man. Keeping it real. Oh God. I don't. There's a you know.
By the way, going into today, we didn't prep for this. There was I know it comes across as completely polished and well thought out, but it wasn't.
It was not. As a matter of fact, when he got in the green room, I said, "Shut up. I don't want to hear anything. Let's just go live and see what happens." Listen, Carmen came in here right before the stream. And I was in the prep room with Maz and with Jens. And we're talking. And she goes, "Do you have an agenda for tonight?" And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I'm going to give Justin crap. Tell him I never actually want to talk to him or anyone that falls under his category. And what else? I think that's all I got.
I think that's all I got, man. I think that's
That'll
what
be fine.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It's just Jeff. He doesn't have a soul. He's in sales.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
I forgot how much wine it takes for me to feel good with that conversation.
Oh, God.
Yeah, a new viewer viewing this one would be like, yeah, like, how do they have followers?
Oh, nobody's viewing this on TikTok, and now I know why.
Did you start it? Did you actually start it?
I did actually start it, so I keep looking over there to see who's paying attention. I know that sales is a needed role. Like, you guys, like, I know that you have a purpose in life. Like, everybody needs a trash man, right? It's gotta be somebody.
I remember when you were asking me how to be a better salesperson.
I never asked you that.
Yes, you did. You did too. I actually have a text message I might have to post.
Hit that exclamation point, guest, go to Jeff's LinkedIn page. You might actually catch an unsolicited text message where he may have accidentally caught me asking for sales advice. I really think it's acknowledgement, right? Like, hey, I know I'm a sales guy. I know I want to talk to you about my product. What can I do? Like, how can we build a relationship? Like, you it's for me, I think it's easy, right? You can go to my socials and see that I'm into golf. Like, I make no qualms about it. Just like when we were in Chicago, right? I made no qualms about it. I went to dinner with more people than I could shake a stick at because they were like, "Hey, Neal, how can I get a meeting with you? Take me to dinner." Fine. Take me to dinner. I'll take a meeting with you, right? I make no qualms about that with golf. If you want to pay for a tee time, I'll go. Y'all spend 4 hours with you out on the golf course. You pay for a tee time, right? It's 4 hours of undivided attention with me. Like, it's no secret with me. Like, you could find that I'm a golf nut. If I got prospects that are watching me now, yes, I'm dead serious. Offer me a tee time, and you can have 4 hours with me to talk about whatever it is that you want out on the golf course. And no guarantee I'm going to buy anything from you, but if you want to like chew my ear off for 4 hours, hey, I'm down. Let's go do it, right? But I think you have got to try to be more relatable and understand that and I think this is what pisses me off, right? Is like, from what little I've learned from you and from Dave and from a few other the sales guys that I talk to, right? You've got marketing that crafts a message, right? And then that marketing then sends it to the sales team, and the sales team tries to create sales literature and sales playbooks. and a sales process and a sales story and a sales flow, and then they give it to the SDRs, right? And then the SDRs have this canned message that they blast out across LinkedIn, and then their only goal is to get them on a call with a BDR, and then they get on a call with a BDR, and then the only call to BDR is to get the next meeting with the real sales guy and the real sales engineer to set it up, right? And that's when the selling starts. That process is fucking exhausting.
What do you want instead? Actually, no, but it's a true question, but I think so many people do their own research now, and there's a lot of good research out there on, if I'm looking at 5 companies that I don't want to have to talk to the salesperson, I'm hitting their website and finding out which is good. I'm hitting Gartner up, I'm hitting MITRE up. And
did you just bring Gartner into the conversation?
I know. I love to. I wanted to see if it was going to get by you.
No, it was not going to get by me at all. Gartner.
Just love the soapboxes.
So, but here's the thing, right? Like, I do think most salespeople, I will agree, most good salespeople are realizing that is the way, hands down, absolutely, 1,000%. I do think that there is a group of people who realize that I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to sales, right? I'll go to the website and I will fill out a form if I really want to talk to you. And here's what'll make me determine if I want to talk to you. And this has been a hot topic inside of Query. Like, I make no qualms about this. If Matt were here, if Mike were here, we would talk about this, because I've voiced my opinion about this inside of my own company, right? Is that, if I go to the website, I don't want to see your Figma diagrams. I don't want to see your fake stage video. I want a free link to get into the product. I don't care about the limitations. The limitations are fine. I want to get into the product. I want to put my hands on the product, and I want to determine the value add myself. And if I can't do that, that's not because I'm too stupid and need a sales guy to come teach me how to use your product. That means that you have failed on product design.
So you would argue that, I'm going to extend what you just said.
Yeah.
With a little bit of an extreme. If you've got a good product, you actually don't need a salesperson. The product will sell itself.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. If I click on a demo, if I'm coming to your website, if I've come to your website, I've already identified that you potentially have a solution to my problem. And if I go to look at your...
I will argue with you. That's a great altruistic way of looking at this, and you would stand on your righteous indignation over how bad and irrelevant salespeople should be, but you will never sell anything. It won't ever sell.
There are literally thousands of companies that sell products like that and have practically zero sales team.
Practically zero.
Yeah.
You said no sales.
Yeah.
I never want to talk to a salesperson.
That's right. I never want to talk to a salesperson. I don't ever want to talk to a salesperson, but I need you to do all the paperwork. I know that I'm going to have to talk to you so that you could deal with procurement. I know I'm going to have to talk to you so that you could talk to your CRO, so that you could fake negotiate internally what I'm going to pay for this product if I can't swipe a credit card for it.
Oh, I have forgotten how annoying and exhausting you can be. So does Query have any salespeople?
You're looking at one
of them. That, by the way, was like literally the highlight of my month. Can you say that again more clearly? Please, pretty please.
I don't know where to go from here.
And that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap. I'm gonna go lick my wounds now. Yes, we are still relatively founder and executive led sales. And so, yes,
Yes.
yes, Query has
Why?
salespeople.
Why do you have salespeople?
I don't. That's obviously still me being pretty cynical. We, you know, we don't do product led sales. What I'm describing for those who are not familiar with that, like, process, right? That's product led sales, right? That whole, like, oh, I'm gonna go to the website, I'm gonna click on a demo, I'm gonna get a demo of the product, and I'm gonna be able to play with the product myself, and then I'll decide if I want to swipe a card. Like HubSpot
And
does.
in all fairness, though, Neil, that's exactly what we did, right? When you were
Who?
looking at us at Cardinal Black with you, we made sure that
Back in
you,
2016.
yeah,
Yeah,
like we made sure that you had unfettered access, and some of it wasn't quite ready for you, and we let you know that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, but I totally agree with you on if you've got a rock solid product that can be played with and people intuitively can decipher how to get into the console, glean information from it, set up policies,
Yeah,
allow AI to help them out.
yeah.
Had to say that.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I'm gonna let that one go.
But like that is I think a critical piece that a lot of people don't trust the customer enough to be able to do that.
Yes, I agree with that. We're gonna dive into that.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a little bit of a two-way street. There's a lack of trust to the salesperson that they're just going to come in and waste your time, and there's a lack of trust from the sales that they will completely lose control, and you don't know what the heck you're doing. So it's going to seem like a cluster from your perspective as the customer because you were not smart enough to figure it out.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's the two fears on both sides of this equation.
I absolutely acknowledge that both of those fears exist. 1000%. I acknowledge that those fears exist. I think, and I'm going to make a couple distinctions here. If you are in an established market like EDR, right? Like email security, like SIM, right? If you think that in an established market, your customers are stupid when they come shopping for you, you're an idiot in the sales team. I think that if you are in an emerging market, one that has yet to be defined by Gartner, Forrester, by the market as a whole, if you're truly on the bleeding edge of something net new that hasn't been defined by the market at all, then I think that it is okay to have a little presumption of ignorance on the customer's part.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting. I was talking to over the last 5 months, right? As I was investigating companies, worked at a few or interviewed at a few. One of them came flat out and said, "Yeah, we believe the SIM market is dead. It failed." Right?
Was that your key to walk away?
Well, it was an interesting discussion because I was like, okay, define what you mean dead and define SIM. Like what SEM, SIM, which version, right?
Yeah.
And what they said was it has failed in what the promise was, which was to elevate alerts from a vast array of data, right? And I'm interested for your perspective on this. All right, is it truly dead? Is it one of those things where, okay, it didn't meet the promise, but it's still evolving, and it's still the best way that we've looked at it, and AI could actually have a place for it?
So I think, so SIM is not dead. Let me start off with saying that. But I think that SIM is what we see when we allow an academic topic to become its own marketplace. Right. And this is a jab at XDR. This is also a jab at Zero Trust. This is a jab at a lot of those places. This is a little bit of a jab at federated search even, right? And we're seeing this now at Query in the federated search space, right? Where whoops. sorry, TikTok, I forgot, has like an hour thing where like if I don't remind it that I'm here, it's like, oh my god, we're gonna shut down your stream. Like, no, TikTok, I'm still here. I got an interesting dude here that I'm talking with. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you, R Honcho, also for the sub. I appreciate it. I think that SIM, right, security, information, and event management, right, is an academic construct that talks about the need to centralize critical systems data for review and analytics. That's
Yes.
it. That's it. At the heart of it, that's what the technology is. That's what the academic understanding of SIM is. And so SIM has not failed. SIM is not dead. There is an auditory requirement. There is a regulatory requirement that I must keep certain data for certain lengths of time. Now, prior to a certain technological breakpoint, SIM was the logical way for me to store said data and have it easily accessible through some form of a search interface.
Yeah, and you're attacking this from a GRC perspective.
No, I'm not attacking it from a GRC perspective. I'm attacking it from an ideological perspective, right? What I'm saying, though, is that we now are in a different world where SIM still has an existence, but people are realizing that it is also easy to have that data in S3 in Amazon, or in Snowflake, or in Databricks, or in KQL in Microsoft, or in, Elastic. There are lots of places that this data could exist. It could exist in one place or it could exist in 15 places. And so, and they're realizing that it's cheaper now than it ever was to store that data. It is easier to put that data into certain places than it ever was. It's still not incredibly easy. I'm not trying to make it seem like you can, product-led growth it into existence, right? It's still challenging. But in the essence of what SIM started at, your ability to have choice over where your data sits is better now than it was in SIM's heyday. And so what I think we're seeing with SIM is we're seeing SIM not be the only child anymore and having to live through the growing pains of not being the only child. And then we see players like CrowdStrike and Palo try to platformerize everything, right? Because they're realizing that they have to get out of this commodity business that they're in, and they have to try to platformerize so that they can be a single player in this space. And I think that continues to show that SIM, or some type of central aggregate of data, isn't dead. BSEC's right. The biggest issue with SIM has been ingestion costs, but largely what I will say, BSEC, in the defense, and I mean that really in the narrowest form of defense of that, ingestion has pretty much been driven by what the market will bear. The market bared that there was no other place for that data to store, and so therefore the market had some inflationary price gouging happening around the cost of ingestion on SIM. And that's why I think that as technology, and to your point, Jeff, your little quib on AI, as AI becomes a lot more of a conversation piece, it's a lot easier to say, well, I can stick all of this in this data store and have something else analyze it without having to incur the cost of $5,000 a gigabyte from Splunk.
Right. Or better yet, I can have it analyze the data in these 4 disparate data sources and look across it. Just because it's stored there doesn't mean it can't be accessed and analyzed as a result. And that's where I think AI can help a lot in parsing out a vast array of data, especially data that doesn't have a consistent construct. You've got inconsistent data streams, et cetera. How do you analyze things that have missing fields? It's a hard thing to manually do. So I do think you and I are in agreement on more than I think you think. Anyone that listens to us would think. I would say.
Yeah, I think you and I see eye to eye on a lot of things. I think this is one, like, Like I don't sense any stupid
I
salesmanship
don't
on your
hate
part.
salespeople as much as you do.
Wait for
I
it.
embrace my salesmanship. You should try that, by the way.
Mm.
But I think it's going to be really interesting, though, over the course of the next couple of years, to see where AI truly finds a home, and can add true value, right? And what I mean is, I think AI is the marketing term that everyone wants to throw at everything, and product is able to throw it at a lot of things, but it's going to provide value in a small subset of those. And it's going to be interesting to see which ones of those do truly become game changers.
So you asked me about whether I thought sales guys understood, my take on AI and the construct of it. What's your take on AI being good? What do you think good looks like and helpful looks like in AI from a sales perspective?
I think if AI can be effective, it helps streamline a lot of the tasks. Anomaly detection is like from like the small world that I live in, right? Anomaly detection is an easy thing to look at and say AI can do that better than a human being. Because as soon as you vary a small data set from a vast array of data, you can say, oh, that's an outlier. Why is it an outlier? What's it connected to? How did it come in? What other things are associated with it? And I think that's where AI can do a way better job. Anomaly detection, I think content creation for sure is a no-brainer. Even doing if I was a lawyer, which if I was a salesman lawyer, I think I would be like I would be in the crosshairs of Neal right now. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to drive this golf ball. Do me a favor, stand right in front of me.
You know what?
Just see if I can hit you. It's just an experiment.
Just for everybody here, 8 years ago, Jeff could say that, and damn sure the golf ball would go way the F around him.
I think the safest place I could be would be right in front of Neal.
That's right.
Right in line with the middle of the fairway.
Right. If you stood right in the middle of my club face, there was no way I was hitting you 8 years ago.
Feeling pretty good. Still feeling pretty good.
Oh, yeah. You say that now.
I would no longer stand in front of you, Neal. All I know is it would have hurt had you ever hit me that way, though. Because you could hit you could hit it hard.
Yeah.
You just had no idea where it was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's changed. You've got to come down here and see how the game has improved, because I do still hit it far for being a short little stocky fat mofo, but now I got way more control over it.
Say I'm a tall fat guy. So there you go. But no, getting back to the lawyer comment, I think there's a lot that AI is going to change in the legal arena. Just being able to parse through legal documents and legal history. Precedence is a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's precedence and has it been overtaken by something else with more recent precedence?
But you've seen that. You've seen that legal stuff. You've seen where the lawyers have tried to use ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has made up cases to just like prove a precedent that they were trying to set.
Well, there's garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest problem with all of this stuff is the records haven't been fantastic. Like, I know coming into our company, our records have been a challenge because how the contacts have changed but weren't updated. That's the biggest challenge in all of this stuff. And you're going to let AI that inherently has to know what to trust, and you have to tell it what it is allowed to trust and not trust.
Yeah,
that's a really hard thing for AI to determine. So the fewer things that you can force it to have to trust that are manipulatable or just flat out wrong, the better. And I think those are going to be things that are more benign, things like writing of a will or things that we should all have, right? And the older we get, You should have one, Neal.
Are you threatening me, Jeff?
No, you're an old guy. You're just an old guy. I was going down the age path. Not that path.
I will say that, like,
Do you feel safe at home, Neal?
What?
Do you feel safe?
Do I feel safe? Blink twice. Quiet, the door's open. She can hear us. I think the garbage in, garbage out piece is critically important when we talk about AI, right? Whether it's lawyering up, whether it's, using it for cyber, GRC is another example. Like you said, I've gone down the GRC path. GRC is another example. When you mentioned lawyering, this is where I definitely think AI has the strongest promise. And actually, if you go to, speaking of GRC, my GRC bestie just messaged me. If you go back to 2 weeks ago, anybody who's listening to, actually, I think Jens, post the link from YouTube, where you put it up. Jens just posted the video. We had Richa Call from Compliance on there. One of the first companies that I've actually seen where they're using AI responsibly. And this gets back to the garbage in, garbage out. If I'm using my data as the input, and I want you to make analytical decisions based on my data, I think I would venture to say there is a high probability that the output will be quality output because you're doing it based off of my data.
Yes.
And so,
your data has been vetted and approved, right?
Right.
The challenge comes that AI has been sold as this idea to gather way more data than just what you have access to.
Yes.
And that's where I think the challenge becomes really a problem for us.
I think that there has got to be some smart people out there that are figuring out a way to balance the data sets, right? Because I don't think that you could ever get away from the vast infinite amount of knowledge that Gemini or OpenAI or those folks who have illegally scraped the internet for God knows how long to build all their models, right? They've got a lot of data there.
Insert soapbox here.
What?
Insert soapbox here.
Insert soapbox here. No, that one I'm gonna stay off of. That one I'll stay off of for now. And so you've got a large data set of what I would say, even if we use back to the maturity models, maybe it's like a level 2 or a level 3 maturity, right? And then you have your data set, right? I have queries data set. Maybe let's just keep it talking about policies, right? GRC for a second, right? In my policies, my GRC data has got a maturity level 5 because I vetted it. Maybe it's a 4, right? Because nobody can really be a 5. Maybe it's a 4. I vetted it. I've looked at it. I've written it. It's in place in my organization. I'm using it. And so when you ask it a question, it's going to take both answers and there will be a weighting to it to say, okay, how do I make the derivative of my model so that I give you the most informed decision based on the large scale of data that exists out there in the world, but with your specific nuances based on how you do things in your organization. I think that's going to be the sweet spot in that.
Yeah. Once you can start grading resources and the inputs,
yeah,
I think the outputs can be more trustworthy. There's actually, I'm not plugging this in any way, but Perplexity is really kind of nice that way. It's an AI model that I actually have used a decent amount. And the reason I like it is it gives the sources. I can vet the sources personally and manually as opposed to just, hey, here's your resulting document or, it just, I don't necessarily use AI to write my final content, but I use AI to say, oh, it's going to help me think of things that I didn't otherwise think of.
I'll use AI to write 85% of my content. Absolutely. I've used AI to write full-blown policies. Like I wrote my BYOD policy off of AI.
Did you?
Absolutely. I had AI write it. I looked through
but
it.
You're vetting it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're vetting it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Without a doubt.
Yeah. And I think that's where AI can really help streamline things. And you talk about efficiencies.
Yeah.
That's hugely efficient.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I think like writing policy, nobody enjoys writing policy except for AI. AI loves to write policy.
Thank goodness.
Thank God. Best employee ever.
What kind of review do you give it? All right. So, what AI engine do you use?
I mean, I dabble with all of them when it comes to non-company related, non-company sensitive stuff. Like, we have a Gemini subscription, we have an OpenAI subscription. We're actually building a lot of stuff on Bedrock inside of AWS, but we're also building stuff on top of Gemini and on top of OpenAI. We're really just kind of like, and this is one of the things that I am proud of, right? And you asked me like where I saw AI fitting in that product design, like we're query.ai. But when you talk to us, like we don't talk about AI at all. We don't bring it up in our sales pitches. We don't bring it up on our marketing stuff. We don't, as a matter of fact, we don't even talk about it at the board of directors meeting, which we just had yesterday. Like we don't talk about AI like it's a it's a key component, right? It's something that just kind of is used to inform and to make the product another feature as part of that product. And I'm really fond of that, right? Because we don't get asked about it. We don't get, even though we do have AI in our name, right? It's never come up as and I think that's when I talk to salespeople, and Richa tells this story on the stream, right? When her and I first met, the first words out of her mouth were, we use AI to enable GRC workflows. And I was like, if you're going to lead with AI in your sales pitch, I don't even want to talk to you. Like it's
for that reason, I'm out.
For that reason, I'm out. And I think that was our big takeaway too, is that we didn't want AI to be the center of the conversation. What we wanted to be the center of the conversation was solving, user challenges, right? Solving psychoanalysis challenges. And so like we play with all of them, and we're doing lots of different things with AI across the board to try to help solve those user challenges. And I think to me that feels like responsible product development when it comes to building an AI world.
Yeah, and I think we use the words like it's not a tool, it's a feature, it's not a product or whatever. I don't really care what we call it. That's kind of semantics.
Yeah.
But the reality is it all gets back to, and we've talked about this before, concern, impact, solution, benefit.
Yes. Say that one slower, because it's been a minute since you brought that up.
Well, and that's like my one nugget, right?
Yes.
My first day out of college, I graduated on a Sunday. I started work on a Monday, and the first thing I was taught was concern, impact, solution, benefit. And it was this way of thinking through sales that I think is way more than just sales.
Yes.
I think it applies to how you write your business plan, how you write your request for funding.
Yeah.
It applies to everything.
Yeah.
Business wise, and probably a few more things outside of business, but it's been so ingrained in me. I just think this way.
Yeah.
I have to understand what the concern is. Like, what is your problem? What are you trying to solve? What is your idea for what success looks like, and why are you not there? Right? Like, what are the gaps to get you there?
Yeah. Once
you understand that gap and the problem and why it's an issue and how it is impacting you, only then can a solution come to bear. And this ties back to what we were talking about at the beginning when you said, do you have a problem talking about carbon black for the last 8 years, and now I'm switching the conversation to cyber reason? No, because we solve the problem differently, but we still solve it.
Yeah.
Right. And I need to understand the problem and the impact, how it's impacting your business, how it's impacting you personally, how it's impacting your team from an efficacy and an efficiency perspective. Once I understand those things, and only once I understand those things, should I ever talk to you about a product.
Yeah.
And I would still argue, I love Dominic. He's a great guy. He's our marketing guy, and he's a fantastic dude. Works tirelessly, right? But I hate the idea of marketing because often it misses the boat because it talks about our products first.
Yeah.
And I hate that, right? And I actually think that's why you ended up liking me, because I refused to talk about our product.
But I mean,
First,
in all fairness, I knew I wanted carbon black when I came to you anyway. And I think I say that to say you're right, because you recognized that and you didn't try to talk to me about like, and I didn't, I do hate sales, Callie. I do hate marketing. I hate all those people. Jeff is,
but you love me.
but I do love Jeff. But what I will say, Matt taught me a sales terminology that did actually resonate with me, and you'll appreciate this. And in retrospect, I can realize that this is what you did. This is why I think it'll resonate with you. He taught me not to sell past the close. And when I came to you and I was like, hey, listen, I already want carbon black. Like, I already know this is what I want. Like, we don't have to like do the dance or anything like that. I think you recognized like, hey, you didn't have to sell past the close. Like, we just had to get it done.
No, your next comment was, but you got to sell these guys.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Was you got to go talk to my team and sell those guys.
Yeah. And so I think my next question was, great. What things are they looking for, and how do I make sure I avoid landmines?
That's right.
I didn't make sure I didn't step in like I love this. Oh shoot, we don't have that. Like I need to understand this. But I think it boils down to just real communication and trust. And I think that happens. Trust happens when you do what you're going to say, or you do what you say you're going to do, and you don't like miss the mark on saying too much that is like, we don't have it yet, but we can do it.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have it yet, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're like, and I'm going to speak for you. I'd be curious if you agree with this. I think where our trust level went really, really high is you said, hey, I want this. I want to take a look at this product. And I said, no, it's not ready for you yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say that unless I understood what you truly needed.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
That truly gets back to, I understood your concern at a point where I didn't have a solution that solved it yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I think I remember that. I think I remember this conversation very, very well, because there was a problem that I needed to have solved. And there were people around me telling me it could be solved somewhere else. And I was like, no, I know carbon black's got a solution to this. I just got to stall this for a little while longer.
Yeah. And we ended up working together and figuring it out. And
yeah.
I think it was the right decision in the end.
Yeah.
But it's that level of communication that, I think salespeople are too fearful of the short-term loss.
Oh yeah.
To long-term gain.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you and I have talked about this before too. I think it's the way they build salespeople, right? Like, oh, you've got to be in this territory, and you've got this many people that you got to sell to, and you've got this quota that you've got, and like all the things that they do to put pressure on salespeople to get the job done. That instills a ton of fear into sales. Now I'm speaking for you, right? Where like it removes the interpersonality of the process and just makes it about the close.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I hate it, because you all are savages and have no sense of humanity.
Love you too.
Oh, God, I miss those days. I meant to ask this on behalf of Josh over on YouTube as we were talking through. I think this came about around the time that we were talking about, whether I want to go on the sales site, product-led sales versus having to talk to a salesperson. And his question, I think this is the question, is channel sales through consultants. And I think that channel sales through consultants is the biggest waste of effort in the entire process, right? Like what you're saying to me is, oh, I want to buy from you so that you get a percentage of the percentage that you're taking from them to put on top of them so that I can ultimately buy from them, but I'm paying you to kind of act in the middle to do the thing for me.
The problem is it all boils down to who's going to keep the customer's best interest at heart, right? And the customer is, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Only the customer.
Yeah.
Where I think you and I got beyond that with a level of trust was you trusted me to have your back, and I did.
Yeah.
And then when I showed that to you that I was going to be trustworthy, you went beyond, and you were more than generous with me, right? I appreciated the trust that you put in me, and I never looked to violate that because it's extraordinarily valuable.
And I think on top of that, when you start to abstract layers, and listen, I don't think that the problem with sales per se is the company, right? It's not Carbon Black. It's not CrowdStrike. It's not SentinelOne. It's not Microsoft. Like, it's not the company that I have a problem with. What I have a problem with is I have a problem with the process. I have a problem with the lack of personality. I have a problem, to Jeff's point, with the lack of trust, right? Microsoft was notorious for this. And you and I had this conversation, I think, as we were battling it out with desktop over MDE versus Carbon Black, right? Which was, they didn't trust me that I was making the best decision for the risk of Abbott. And so they went around me and went to the CIO and told the CIO that I was going to buy from you versus buying from Microsoft, right? And that's a fantastic way to ruin trust, in the process, is by going around my back and talking to my boss.
Ruin trust 101.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think that and when I see Josh's comment about channel sales through consultants, that just seems like why am I putting buffers of layers around a company when I ultimately want to work for the company? There's value. Listen, and Mondelez taught me this. You remember this? You remember this conversation we had at Mondelez? Mondelez, I went from having a crazy ass budget at Abbott to having literally less than a third of that at Mondelez, and had to do the exact same job with a third.
Way less than a third of that.
I had way less than a third. It felt like a third, but yeah, I had way less than that. It was tiny. It was really bad. It was really bad. It was like had to sell blood and kidneys for my budget at Mondelez. It was pretty bad. And so I learned to appreciate startups. You remember this? You remember this because we talked about this. At Abbott, there was no tolerance, but Bobby had zero tolerance for startups at Abbott. He and I remember distinctively, and this is no knock at Bobby. If he were here, I'm sure that he wouldn't mind me sharing this. But it was like he always had this perspective. And again, let's keep in mind, Abbott's very uptight. It's very stuffy. It was very prim and proper type of organization, and his mentality was always well, if I had to go talk to the CFO or the CEO or the board of directors that there was an issue or an incident, I don't want to tell them we relied on a startup out of Atlanta that had 20 people 100% remote, and we were their fourth customer, and we relied on their product. That was just not a conversation he was interested in having. And so we never built relationships in the security team with those types of emerging startups. And Mondelez had to take literally 180 polar opposite approach to that, where Paula was like, yo, you got no money, go figure it out.
Hello, startups.
Woo! Hey, you guys looking for some design partners? Can I get in on some of that?
Yeah.
I'll gladly give you my logo if you can give me the product for free, please. Now I was at a big Fortune 100 company selling my kidneys for a product.
Yes, exactly. So that was your uncle's kidneys.
Yeah, it was and so I say all that. I use that entire story to say I learned a valuable lesson about working with companies and working directly with companies where the channel sales partner, Insight Partners, I think was who we used at Abbott at the time. Having to work through them felt like the most mundane zombie thing in the entire world to have to work through, having to pass everything through procurement and feel completely disassociated from the process of buying my own technology in a security organization. It was literally the worst feeling ever.
But you figure it out.
Yeah.
Every organization has those issues.
Yes. Yeah. I don't mean it's not unique by any stretch of imagination.
No, every organization I ever talked to, one of the lines of questioning is, how soon do you need this, and how quickly can things get through your procurement and legal teams?
Yes.
Because like those are like, if it wasn't for your magic and working with procurement and legal,
Yeah.
our initial deal never would have gotten done.
I know. I know. And that's politicking, folks. That is politicking.
There
Like
you go.
they only
Exactly.
like I can't even looking back, I couldn't even begin to tell you how I did that. It was 100% politics. It was 100% politics.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. It's good to have you back, buddy.
It's been fun. Thank you.
It is.
I've missed you.
I missed you too.
I-
So
I will make this promise to you. I will throw a date out on the calendar that I will be down. Let's get together to play golf and have some fun.
that sounds like a fantastic idea. However, since it's been so long, we're gonna have to do some counseling, and since I've gotten really, really attached to my community, we need to do some very public counseling. I'm gonna put you on the books for the next. Let's start with 6 weeks. We're going to put you back on the calendar for the next 6 weeks. We're going to do some open therapy in front of the community. And then after 6 weeks, if the community feels we've repaired our relationship enough, then we can play some golf.
You just said all I have to do is get a tee time and you'll play. Like, I think we have that recorded.
Yeah, in a tea time. You can get a tea time in 6
Okay.
weeks after open therapy.
I love you, Neal. Missed you.
I know. Jeff, I'm going to send you along your way. Thank you so very much for gracing us all with your lovely presence, for tonight. Famous last words coming out of Jeff's mouth for the evening before I chat with the team.
Okay, this is relevant right now. Don't be afraid of a job change. It can be a good thing.
What about people who are laid off right now, who have been laid off for months? What do you tell those folks who are laid off for longer than they really should have been?
I've got a buddy that is struggling with this right now, and you are way better than you think you are. You are way more valuable than you think you are. Rely on your friends, rely on your community, rely on people you don't even think are in your community because they want to help you. Rely on them. That's what I'll say.
Couldn't have been said better yourself. Jeff, I'm going to chat with my team. You have a fantastic evening, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, I love it. I love it. I miss that dude. I did see BSEC ask about T-E-E with a hacker. That's the second time T with a hacker has been brought up. I make this promise to you. I am currently evaluating how best to solve that between camera technology and wireless mics and, tripods and things like that. There will be T with a hacker out on the golf course. So... that will come to you. We do still have two more streams. Sorry, I almost lied to you there for a second. We have 2 more streams this week. Do not forget tomorrow's Sec Data Ops with our good friend Rick McElroy, who's been on the stream before too. He's now obviously moved on from Carbon Black and VMware and Broadcom as well. So we're going to bring him back and we're going to chat with him. And we're going to talk to him tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the Sec Data Ops webcast. And then, yes, Friday morning, we will have Tea with a Hacker. Real quick, pay attention to this. There are still things to give away. I have things to give away. Yes, you can absolutely ask about the giveaway. This has not gotten forgotten. Forgotten to be gotten. This has not been forgotten. We do still have giveaways. I'm going to do it Friday morning because we have our largest audiences Friday morning, and I'm still waiting for a couple of other giveaways to trickle in. But we have Sec Plus, we have Net Plus, and we have Jax's AI course that we're going to give away massive giveaways on Friday. But you need to be in Discord to participate. So if you are not in Discord, you must get in Discord. Hit that exclamation point Discord. I'll have one of the mods post those across the different types of social medias, but you do need to be into Discord to participate in the giveaways. I'll answer this one just because it's there, and I do love answering questions. You guys know that I love answering questions. For those who are new to cyber insecurity, if questions randomly started coming in across all the channels, I would probably stay here and just answer them for hours because that's how I roll. But can you make a decent living with a basic help desk support job? I mean, the answer is yes. Like listen, define decent, right? Are you driving a Lambo? Probably not. Do you need to drive a Lambo? Also probably not. Right? I mean, listen, I was young once. I thought that's what I wanted. Now I'm old, being on a show called Old Guys Wednesday. Right? Nah, you can, like, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I definitely think that younger me had a better lifestyle than older me. You know, see, look at that. Like you have no worries whatsoever. You're gonna be retired from the army, keep 50% of your pay. You don't need a lot. You damn right. Like, go make decent living. Go work a support job. Go have a fun life. Enjoy your retirement. Thank you for your service. Thank you so very much for your service. And have fun in your retirement. Go be a GS, like Callie says. All right. Don't forget, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sec Data Ops, Rick McElroy. Friday morning, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tea with the Hacker. Y'all stay awesome. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Remember, whether you're on the red side or the blue side or still deciding, keep learning. Keep learning and stay awesome. And we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Piggyback on everything I got, I never knew one from the bottom, but now I've had enough. Please stay away, find a new hobby, cause you've been too close to my personal space. Don't make me call out your names, but I'll go there and you gonna make me put you in your place. I'm trying to put my whole crew in a race. Came a long way from that minimum wage. Funny how money be bringing